and I'm doing my thing, and I'm making so much money. It's a bank making all these things, and AMD. It's a moderate buy today. Yeah. Every week I will check out this new update. They're like, let's go. What's going on with your voice?
I have a cold.
That's okay. That's normal. I have sinus issues because I don't know, the weather just kind of turned sideways.
Yes.
So, but it's cool. You just gotta breathe it in, take your time, being comforted by money.
It's been really, really good. It's been peaceful.
That's good. I'm out here just updating this.
Oh, can you send this to me, Lawrence?
I already sent it to you. So it's the same one. You just have to go and actually click on it. I'm just saying.
No, it didn't look like you made changes then from the last time that I saw it.
Yeah, but it always updates. So if you click on the link, that's the whole point of it being Google Sheets. It just updates.
Okay.
Updates automatically. I'm enjoying making it though. It's kind of cool. It's like, eventually I kind of give it a pie chart or something like that. But for now, the little details I want to add in there just for my own sake.
Okay.
Adding it. You want to know what it is? Want me to explain it? That's the only way I learn as well.
Okay, go ahead.
Is it intuitive or whatever? That's the function of any good civilization, that all this stuff is intuitive. So, all right. These are my holdings for the totality, me and Doreen's holdings all over the place. Either it be 401ks, IRAs, HSAs, so on and so forth. These are all the holdings. So as you, on the left-hand side is typically the ticker symbols for it, either cash because it doesn't have any ticker, but every other equity typically has a ticker symbol of 1 to almost like four letters to represent it. And you go down past the total equities, that means the single stock positions. There are the ETFs, which are multiple or variable stock positions. And then after that, there's these things called mutual funds. Mutual funds are the precursor to ETFs. They're just managed by somebody out there. They get a certain cut of the money and they make changes. So that's what they all are in totality as of yesterday. It should be closer to around $460,000 worth of position.
Okay.
Why is that so? Some of the things you can't really update. They can't pull from Google Finance. Either it be my 401k stuff and mutual funds. Typically, those things are harder to pull. But for everything else, these are automatically pulled off of, based on this, Google Finance. So Google Finance basically creates a function within Google Sheets that says, hey, based on whatever the ticker is in the B column, it could pull the current price. So that's kind of what this function is. So it's the ticker, and then it goes to basically says price, and it searches Google Finance to pull up the Apple's current price. So based on the amount of shares I have in Apple, no matter where the location is, the price, the current value of our Apple shares ends up being automatically populated by just a standard function calculator.
Yeah.
And that's what that is. So some of these are being pulled directly off of like the name itself, which I could have put in there, but you can actually also pull the name based off a ticker symbol.
Okay.
So all of this is just pulling. But some of these things I manually populated because it doesn't have that function within Google Finance to be the category, the sector, or the industry. I just did that myself to dictate what it is, or the understanding of is if it's domestic or international. And that's somewhat subjective because there's a lot of companies that are primarily quote unquote domestic, but they sell all over the world, which typically should make them all international at that point.
Okay, but this is going on the company's corporate orientation, right?
Well, no, this is not being pulled from anything, but it's just basically that's all you need to know is that if a company is primarily quote unquote run or headquarters in the US, then
You
it's
put them as
known as
domestic.
a domestic company. It is known as that. It's not because I put it that, it's just really known as that. But it doesn't paint the right real picture of modern time, because a lot of these companies, they sell so much of
They're
their products
globalized.
overseas.
Got it.
So if you're selling 51% of your products overseas, technically you should be considered an international company, but you're not still, which is it's a very odd thing. But ultimately, I just put all those things just to kind of, I guess, eventually have like a pivot table or something that shows how much domestic I have versus how much international exposure I have. At any
Okay.
given time, you don't want to have too much international exposure, or maybe you do want that. So that's the thing. So all these columns, either telling the account types, because I have so many different accounts. So when somebody used to ask me, "Hey, Lawrence, what do you have in your portfolio?" I think they think it's very simple. It's like 5 things and it's all in the same place. No, it's all over the place. It's in 401ks, it's in IRAs, it's in HSAs, and it's
Wow.
also in the after tax thing, or it's in a combination of both. So you could have, for example, Apple stocks. We have it in our after tax, and we also have it in our Roth IRAs.
Okay. So put berries.
Yeah. So some of the things that are in Roth and also traditional, or if they're in both, I just put various. Or if they're in none, they're basically not in that, and they're just in the after tax, like the AMD. It's just an after tax.
Okay.
So all this stuff is fine, and then this percentage of the total is really the percentage of that amount of exposure within the total portfolio.
Excuse me.
So
Okay.
out of out of the $460,000, only 1% of it is actually Apple.
Okay.
This
And
is
then
actually
you
go
have
ahead.
tables.
Huh?
You're gonna have. So you said are you gonna make like an overview table that showcases where you leverage certain industries more than others, like healthcare, technology? I think I had seen
Yeah,
that.
eventually goes there. So when this
Okay.
one, it just shows you like the percentage change for the last day of trading, and that's being pulled from Google Maps or Google Finance. So some of these tables are being pulled from Google Finance. This last 3 categories was 52-year high, 52-year low, and the median between both. This is what I'm trying to mean by that. I also created the value of what our stocks would be at the very high, at the very low, and where they're currently at.
Okay.
So just to kind of give me understanding, because as I get into almost like the note section, I kind of want to know where I'm at within this parameter to
Okay.
decide if I'm going to buy, sell, hold, so on and so forth. And that's kind of how I quickly do math in my own head, but it's just
Okay.
something I'm representing here. So the notes that I have, which I'm populating now, which is analyst ratings, which I'm getting majority of that from this source called MarketBeat. I actually enjoy their platform very much for it because it's easy to follow, and I kind of live off of these damn upsides and downsides. I'm like, you know what, this is actually not bad. They're doing all the work for me.
Okay.
So I populated, or at least I'm making those changes as of now. So the analyst ratings tells you if the analysts generally think it's a buy, sell, or hold, or whatever it is. The upside value, which is one of the parameters I typically use in making decisions of what I'm going to buy more of in that year or not that year in that moment, based off, hey, is it a buy? Is it something I really like? Is it something within my portfolio? And do I need it? And it's like, oh, it's a company I really already love, like Amazon, and it has an upside of 49% based on where it was.
Okay.
So for me in 2023, this final one is like my favorites to be like these Apple, Amazon, CVS is one of my favorites because everybody generally use it. Google is one of my favorites because we all use it. So in my opinion too, instead of calling these things tech companies, I think they're also staples. There's not a way that we could kind of just say they're just tech if everybody uses them on a daily basis, in my
Okay.
opinion. So to me, they're tech staples, and that's why I kind of like it. Is like you're everywhere that we touch at any given week. And the average American is touching these companies.
Okay.
So yeah, so in this situation, for my notes for the year, I got my little greens, which is what I'm focusing on to buy this year because they started off so low. Apple, Amazon, Google, CareTrust Realty, which is basically like healthcare nursing homes. Think about like real estate nursing homes.
Okay.
That's what that is. So this is the stuff I'm buying more of, and we're also getting a brand new one, which is highlighted blue. We've got its own notes, which is Novo Nordic or something. But ultimately, they do all the diabetes stuff.
Okay.
The stuff that you're seeing on everybody's arms, something that Doreen uses all the time for ever since last year. I'm like, oh, what the hell? Like, for some reason, I needed to get more healthcare. And then I looked into this position. I was like, what the hell? And their upside was nasty.
Okay.
Like, that's kind of how I make some of my decisions. And I kind of look towards the future. I'm like, okay, what's the upside? And that's kind of how I would say somebody like Warren Buffett makes their decision. They're thinking like, hey, what can I gain from this? So this is rated moderate buy. The upside right now is 392% or 393%. Why?
That's market beat,
Because
right?
yeah, this is market beat.
Okay.
Why? Because it's literally creating stuff that you need for a population that's one, over sugared, two, getting fat, and three, that have serious chronic diseases. They're basically positioned in the right space to provide a product that everybody needs.
Okay.
In my opinion, I'm like, this is wild, son. This is wild. And they also pay dividends. I'm like, this is wild. Like, if I ain't in this game, I'm stupid. That's the way I think about it. So let's see, for example, Google Finance. And their ticker symbol is NVO. So pull that in. So we'll see for year to date is not much movement. But for the last 5 years, though, if you jumped in fairly early, you'd be up.
Okay.
So even if you jumped in last year or in 2021 at 67, you'd be up on down near double it. Only on the basis that this stuff is what people use.
Okay.
What's the other one? IDEX. This is one that my friend works at. She worked there for a while and she never really makes any money, but I'm like, you should probably, she could have been investing in that sucker, and she started to. So even at the point of prior to the pandemic, it was always hovering around 200-ish. And then afterward, it jumped all the way up to down there 600 during the pandemic.
Independent, okay.
All they're doing is basically more healthcare stuff. Laboratories, healthcare, so on and so forth. So basically, the idea behind all of this is that's the thing about, you can't, it is gambling, in my opinion. You're betting on something, you're betting on the ideal, you're betting on whatever, but some of it is just kind of intuitive itself, because if you're going to use this product anyways, which me and Doreen, based on her situation, she's always going to be using that, why not jump into it? Why not buy into your own supplier?
Okay.
So yes, so this is how, some of these decisions are being made. These positions or these upsides do change based on the time of day or the week it is, whatever it is. But for the most part, they hold steady as far as if you buy low, you'll be in a better position in the future. And I think there's another thing that it does in Nordics. They do the competitors as well. So you can see where their competitors are and who their competitors are. Yeah, come on, bro. Yeah, so competitors pop up, and the list of companies that are competitors being all this, AbbVie being at this much, Pfizer being at this much, Johnson & Johnson, so on and so forth. And you also see I think there's also the upsides in the price. Yeah, the upsides are under here for their competitors. Their competitors are well situated, but because they're so relatively unknown as a name, this is probably why they're supposed to shoot up beyond these other people.
Okay.
Because it's kind of like they've been doing this, and it's not like they've been doing this like yesterday. It's just because it's just not really that known. And they had the company since 1925. So will this company fall out of nowhere in the middle of nothing? Probably not. Like, so I'm actually, I'm with it. I'm with it.
You're moving towards it.
Oh, I'm definitely not just moving towards. We already bought some shares off of it, so it's just what it is.
Okay.
So what about you? What's your do you even have these type of positions, or are you just kind of sticking with the 401k? How's your I guess your your portfolio doing if you're thinking more in that sense?
So since last year, I've been kind of doing a mix because I have a lot of private equity.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the biggest things that I've been trying to do is kind of like switch a part of that. So last year I invested probably like 40 or 50 grand.
Ooh, nice.
And so just switching it up a little bit, I have different like pies that I've kind of created, like e-commerce things like tech sectors, health. So I'm always researching. So this is really, really good. I
Mm-hmm.
think one of the things I was really surprised in, like late last year, I actually was like, I feel like FedEx probably would kind of go up.
Oh yeah.
And it gave me like a good 40% return from the time that I
Woo,
did
let's
it.
go.
So that was really good. What's killing me right now is that I did have some in like Salesforce, like, 'cause
Mm-hmm.
I'm really focused on tech, so I kind of have a lot of like not inside information or anything, but more so a preview of like what is that I feel like is going to end up making it back, even though right now it
Mm-hmm.
sucks. So Salesforce, I'm a little worried about it because it gave like a 9% return from the last time I checked so far, but I'm a little worried about some of my SaaS companies. So I really want to diversify as much. Airbnb gave me a good uptick this year in the
Mm-hmm.
last 3 months or so. I think it was like 35%. So I have like little pies that I've kind of like started creating more of because I also realized that I'm over leveraged in private equity.
And also tech.
Yes, very over leveraged in tech. And so my goal has been to do like more research. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, this is really cool because I need to diversify my palette because right now things are going to be in an influx and market is going to be in an influx. So, and because I've been doing a lot of work with the healthcare company, I realized that there's like companies like that you discovered that will, like, for longevity's sake, probably will outlive some of these companies that I'm vested in right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm also looking into doing some private equity again for some healthcare companies that are being built out. So it's been a journey, but I've been doing my best to kind of like balance it out. The other thing that I'm also like, far as finances, that's really been difficult is that ultimately my mom's on my care.
Oh yeah.
My sister, I can't trust her to even do the basic things, like basic things that she has. Because my mom gave my sister, my sister's the one that has access to my mom's finances, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's the one that handles, well, not handle the finance, but she has access to it. And so over the last couple of months, I've really been, like checking in, like, hey, how much money is in the account? Because right now my mom's in Haiti. And you'll
Mm-hmm.
notice that from month to month, law, like there's no savings. The money's just being spent. And when I ask for like, what was this about? Or where did this money go? You can't get an answer. And so I'm supposed to be taking over it because it's not a lot of money. But if let's say I take the $1,000 that my mom has and just says, I'm going to invest this money every month for you, put it somewhere, do something with it. That's going to be better than what they're doing right now. And so ultimately she's supposed to be coming here in Boston during the not winter months. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to figure out, because she doesn't like up here, do I invest in getting her a condo space and getting her a bridge care during the non-winter months?
Bridge care.
Or
Bridge care. Can you explain what that bridge care is?
so essentially what ends up happening is when they can't take care of themselves, you have a network of people that pretty much bridge the gaps of their care. So
Mm-hmm.
you can either do somebody that's like all 24 hours with the person, or you can say, hey, this person, you're coming and you're going to be doing the food. This person, you're coming and you're going to just be doing like bath care, medicine, and things like that. So you can
Mm-hmm.
kind of diversify it, because my mom will tell me forever and ever that, yeah, I'll be here, but like she'll come here and then she already has plans to figure out to be back in Florida. And
Mm-hmm.
ultimately, there's not a solid case for care in Florida for her when it's being ran by my sibling.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really trying to figure out, like, I know she's not going to stay here during the cold. Like, it's just what it is. So now it's like, do I just get a property and then get her the care that she needs during the time?
Mm-hmm.
Because the other alternative is to get her, because she has a space in Haiti. Like she has her own house, everything else, but it's pretty far, and the trek to get there is far. But Okap is kind of like more calm than anything else.
Yeah. It
It's
seems
not
like it
necessarily.
holds up. Yeah, it holds up more than Port-au-Prince.
Yeah. So the other thing is, do I spend? It will probably cost me half as less. Do I just send her there during the winter times and then pay for the space there? So that's the thing. But at least if I get the space in Florida, then there's kind of like eventually I could do something else with the space. But the space in
Yeah.
Haiti is just going to be money that's just being spent.
Yeah. Oh man, that kind of reminds me of situations that's going on with my mom. Yesterday, she called me around like 9 p.m. And this is the one of the random scenarios because she calls and all right, I'll pick it up because I'm like, all right, I'm doing dishes, but I'm gonna pick it up anyways. And she calls and she sounds very somber and sad about something. So I asked her straight up, what's going on? Like, she's like, oh, everything's okay, but you sound real sad about it. Like, it was like, you want to talk about it, and you realize that this person has no idea how to communicate.
Yeah,
Just can't communicate their feelings, can't communicate, doesn't want to do it, whether sweep it under the rug. And me being that person I've always been, I just kind of be like, oh, so you just want to sweep it underneath. You want to, you want to ignore what's going on. All right, cool. All right. I asked and I moved on. And lo and behold, there's a lot of other stuff that's bothering her. Maybe there's a relationships problem where she's living and how she's handling everything. But she started saying stuff like, one, she wants to go with her church to Brazil for one of those kind of like missionary, like not even missionary, but to go pray.
Okay.
All right. And the Brazil trip is like $3,000. And or she wants to go, and that's with another church, and or she wants to go to Europe with another church to do like another prayer type of thing, to go to Spain, Denmark, and I believe France. She said Louvre or something. So that's for like $4,000 to $5,000. I'm looking around like, what's going on here? Like, this person's having a crisis of conscience. She retired already. She has nothing to really do. She has a new granddaughter that she could spend time with, but yet there's issues there. She lives in a home with her sisters. You'd think they have like a good community base, so you don't necessarily get tired and whatever. Nope, there's problem there. Then she brings up the random things like, you know what? I'm thinking about buying a plot of land in Ocala.
Oh, okay. That flipped really quickly.
Yeah. Isn't that weird? I'm sitting there like, what the hell is going on? See, what do you think? What do I think? What's going on? It's like we could buy the plot and we could develop it. What's going on?
God.
This is nuts. And I guess I negotiated my way around it by saying, hey, do you want us to buy like a ticket for you to go to her favorite place to go is Panama. That's where she feels very comfortable. I'm like, whatever you're thinking about this church mission super prayer trip, you could literally do it in Panama. It's the same thing. All the countries are the same. The cathedrals are generally the same thing. Some of them you're going to speak Spanish, some of them are going to speak Latin. And in the end of the day, you're going to be in the same position doing the same thing. Why not do it in a cheaper space? And all right, if you want to go to Brazil to see Christ the Redeemer, I get it. Say that. But don't say it is a church trip.
Oh, God.
Like, if you want to go see that and you want to travel and I guess expand your horizons and do what you want to do in retirement, that makes sense. But in the end of the day, I say all of that to know that this financial stuff falls upon me.
Yeah.
And my family. I'm like, God, dog, this is wild. And it's not going to get any easier.
No, it doesn't. Because like even today, like the whole medication stuff again, my sister didn't pack like needles, right? Extra needles. And it's like the person has diabetes. She starts out like, how did you not count the needles? Like, how did you send her to Haiti when against my advisement? Against my counsel, and then now it's gonna cost like $500-600 to get needles to Haiti. And something about it is like simply as making sure that if you packed her medicine, I'm asking my sister, well, how much did you send? Well, I put some in the box for her medicine and I threw some in the suitcase. That's not an answer. How much did you send? If you knew she told you she was going to spend 5 months, that means she needed 5 months worth of supply of everything. Like, why wasn't it in your brain to do a calculation? And then I always end up looking like the asshole because I'm asking these type of questions. And then today my mom's like, oh, I'm just going to listen to you. I'm just going to follow your plans.
Lies.
And I'm like,
Lies.
yeah, no, we
Said
had this
that last
conversation.
time. He said that last
Yeah.
time.
And it's like, no, you don't listen. And the thing is, every not listening comes at a cost. And I've come to a place where I'm not bending over backwards because I'm like, that's coming out of your pocket. Well, she's like, I only got $600 up in the account. I'm like, yep, it's coming out of your pocket. Because what ends up happening is my mom, even for like her insurance, her life insurance things, my name's not on them because she always says Lovely can defend herself. Lovely's always going to be okay.
Damn. She's like, hey, even they ain't giving you life insurance. They're like, it's cool. It's cool. You ain't getting a dime.
Yeah, and it's like it's not like it's like what 35 or 40, but even unless, how are you gonna put on my sister's name that not responsible? My sister's type of person, I would have paid everything for the funeral, and then she still wouldn't have called those people to actually do the what's the thing called, like for you to get what you need. Like she probably wouldn't even put the claim in, and the money would just be sitting there because
and you would have to still do that, and she'll be getting all the payout.
Exactly. So it's like, no, this no. So I'm like, no. I was like, when you come back, I'm having you sign everything and change it because it's not even about me needing it. Whatever is left over, if there's anything, I'm gonna give them to them. I don't necessarily need it, but it's more so about like making sure that the person that's actually responsible, that's actually going to, execute everything. And I tell my mom that all the time. I don't have a problem if you want to go to Haiti. If you want to go to Haiti, that's your prerogative. But
That's fool's
understand
gold.
risks that comes with it. And then you have to make sure that if you have to have extras of everything because the country is not a stable country. It is what it is. Like,
yeah, if anything should happen, who does it fall over to bring her back? It's you.
It's you. It's not even like if when that happened last year, law, I end up that month probably dossed out over $10,000. Money to fly you in, money to make sure that you had the transportation, to get you on a small airplane of a missionary airplane because she's not in Cap Haiti. She was in Cap or Port. So you had to do the small airplane. And because it was an emergency flight, you got to pay for that.
Yeah.
Transportation on the ground to get her here. She was in the rehab places. The care that I had to give, I had to stop working, doing business for the whole month. In addition to making sure she had everything she needed because she didn't have anything. And my sister didn't pay 2 months of rent. I couldn't let you be out like having no place to live. And she wasn't yet stable enough to travel. That's $10K. Yeah. It's on the spreadsheet. I have it on the spreadsheet because I have to do these things because the money don't grow on trees.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people are processing that, especially when they're going around and doing their thing or going through their late life crisis. It's all going to cost you in the long run. I'm just happy that I was able to walk my mom down this 5K ledge because it would have been 5K out my money to make sure that she had a good time off of it. I'm like, I'd rather pay $1,000 or $2,000. It's kind of like negotiate my way down versus than paying $5,000.
Yeah, because you have to constantly, do something to figure it out. But so essentially what ended up happening now is I have to figure out a place that she's not depressed because I understand that especially it's not like she's healthy. She has a stroke. She's a history of 2 strokes and she has left side paralysis. So she's wheelchair bound. So the care is not like she can just get up and do whatever. So then all those things come into consideration because when I'm in Haiti and then I have the people caring for her, it does cost us less. But my sister's the one sending her there without a proper plan in place. Because my mom's also DNR. So she's like, if something happens to her, she cannot breathe. She does not want us to resuscitate her.
What is DNR?
Do not resuscitate.
Do not resuscitate. Yeah, you got all these like healthcare codes like there's DNR. I'm like, DNR? What's a DNR?
Yeah. So she's somebody like if something happens to her, she's really like, hey, I've lived my life the way it is. I didn't think my life was good. Because you have to understand, my mom had the stroke when she was 39, 40 years old. So she had a stroke very young. And so she spent the last 12, 13 years being wheelchair bound, having to do this. And she's going through a process of decline, not an up-cal, because she's not doing the rehab. She's not doing the certain things that she needs to do. So really trying to get her realigned into that place. And I understand when somebody has gone through those traumatic things, they also have a state of mind of depression too, because that's not how they expected their life to be. Because my mom was a really, really hard worker. She had 2 businesses, working a full-time job. She was always doing those things, but at the cost of her health. So what ended up happening is now it's like I have to create, like I have the sheet I'm not on my thingy. Let me see. Caravan.
Yeah, at least you're tracking these expenses, because I don't think a lot of people know how much it's going to cost, and it's going to be phenomenal in the long run. Says this is why I try to warn people. It's at just in your back of your mind, just at least $2,000 per month in a couple years. So it's not this year, it's not the year after that, but it's around like $2,000 a month, and you're already pushing about $1,000. Like last year, you did 10 grand, and I'm pretty sure in between that amount of money, whatever it is, you're probably closer to 1,500 last year.
Yeah, let me show you guys. I'm gonna
share the screen. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm gonna do this one. I can't find my other one, but I'll show you guys this one that I kind of started breaking down everything else.
Alainta, how about your mom? How's she doing?
My mom, paycheck to paycheck. I'm still managing her expenses and stuff like that, but it's not sustainable. We're still trying to work that out.
Shoot. Is she ever even gonna work that out though? Like, sorry, you're trying to work that out. You're trying to figure it out.
We're all the siblings, i.e. me and my brother.
It's like, how many siblings? Not just two of us.
We're trying. We got some. Actually, thanks for reminding me. I got to call him today. Got some idea of what to do with my mom, i.e. want to retire.
Oh, she finally ready to do it?
Yes, but it's some things I can't say while we're recording.
Oh, I forgot that we are.
Well, we record is what it is. Why y'all so scared? Scared. Like it's like there's like five people. There's 5 people that listen. There's 5 people that listen to this.
What I said, LG?
There's like 5 people that listen to this. So
I said I'm not trying to criminalize myself.
Which is not actual word. Incriminate yourself.
Incriminate myself? Yeah.
Yeah, anglais parfois.
I'm gonna edit that part out. Don't worry about it.
Anglais parfois.
Oh, we were just chatting. It's not necessarily an episode, so we can. I sound like a chipmunk, so. All right. I can't find the other one right now because I just moved stuff around. So, yes.
Yeah, we see it. Nice.
So,
somebody else's sheets.
So what ended up happening is I put all the issues, right? And it needs to be addressed, and then prospective solutions on the different things, like the unmanaged healthcare needs, left side mobility, limited range of motion, limited financial resources for care. She receives, I put 1,100, but right now I actually got the right number for my sister recently is 1,260. And I kind of
was, I'm sorry, Lovely, was she able to get disability upon arrival?
No, she has it. It comes in. She has 1,260 that comes to her monthly.
Gotcha. Okay.
Security. Yeah. So I put the psychosocial stuff, like, she wants company, connection, stateside. We could offer certain things in Haiti, but back and forth, weather and comfort, and then current healthcare support in Florida, and then potential decline for long-term care, and then transportation to Haiti if we do that plan. So this is kind of like potential solutions. So there's the other form that I have. I have to find it because I just moved things around recently. But in this one, this is literally like if I was supposed to get her full-time care, living rates, this is how much it costs me on a weekly basis. So
wait, what? Like right now, or just in the future?
This is a future for her to get long term because she comes.
That's a week.
That's a week law. This is like based off real rates, and this is actually on the median. This is a median. This is not even me doing low, high, and all those other things.
Oh, that hurts.
Exactly. So that's what I was saying. Like during the winter time, right? Let's say rental space in Ocop is $1,500. Food and supplies and stuff like that, and then healthcare check-in to get a nurse to come there, and then the healthcare fee for the month in Haiti is $2,600. So
yeah, that's like $84,000 a year right there at the weekly rate, which I think makes a lot of sense. Though I think that's kind of what they've been saying about long-term healthcare. It's anywhere from like $80,000 to $100,000 easy. That's before tax. That's before increases. That's before any changes. Like it's an easy amount of money that you could come off of. I'm like, man, that's income. It's one thing to think about it in a theoretical sense and to see the number that at least somebody else pulled up. I'm like, oh, that hurts me. It hurts me a lot.
Exactly. So when I say like needs to be addressed and needs to, like, people need to understand, like, you know, our parents, for me, I've had to been doing this for the last 10 years, right? Like getting some type of bridge care for her, doing these different things. But as she starts to decline, it becomes more expensive and she doesn't have the financial resources. My mentor went to the same thing. You know, the only difference, her mom had, my mom has the 2 lands, but she has it with my brother's dad. And because of the way my mom is, she kind of was like, oh, just give it to my brother. What she doesn't understand is, no, you need to sell those things and those assets to turn them into cash value so that you can get the care, because this is what these things were for. She doesn't want to budge on it. She just says, when my brother's dad sells them, the portion goes to my brother. Not recognizing how you're going to live if you don't have resources or assets. The only difference is my mentor, her mom had $300,000 saved, right? And she had a property. So when she was in her decline for the last 7 years, that's what my mentor was able to pay out. She paid somebody $18 an hour for 8 hours a day. And she was able to use those resources. But this is what it costs. Like, this is long-term care. And the hopes is, the only thing I'm hoping is when she gets in mass, I wouldn't put her in a household, like, you know, like a household with me. She'll live here, but I wouldn't put like, oh, that we're one household, so that she could maybe qualify for some of the long-term care services and things and cost coverage that Massachusetts allows for. This is real stuff. Like,
yeah, this is why I think when I did my numbers for early retirement and I was kind of shot for $100,000 a year in expenses, is because I'm also trying to somehow in my mind figure out how to provide for my wife in case of my passing, right? Because she has, you know, diabetes. That basically means long-term care. No matter how we think about it, it's just going to be that the price is going to be the price. That's what's going to be. So why not think about it ahead and kind of like make provisions for that in order for me to ensure that at least she's taken care of. So for me to retire early is not just a exercise of, yeah, I'm good, blah, blah, blah. No, it's an exercise of like, I need to think really deeply about what the cost means and how much money is coming in per year to cover those costs.
And not only that, the other thing that we have to consider is we're looking at it from, and I think we talked about this before, we're looking at it from if everything goes right. Meaning, if by this particular age, none of us need the services, none of us need these things, we have this much runway to get to this X number. There's always that factor in life of any time somebody can be disabled, any time that these things can happen. And what I recognized was like, which is the things that kind of started ringing my brain, which is why I went in the direction that I went to in life, is that at 39, she had the stroke. So even if she was planning to have something here left, like if you don't start planning from the get-go, which you always talk about, it puts you in this position that when anything drastic happens, it can literally take you out. So it's always important, like at any point that we have to recognize, like if something happens tomorrow and we no longer can work, what's our backup plan? What are the things that can happen? Because we're looking at it with a perfect picture of like by 45, 50, this is the numbers that I want. But there's always there's factor of you don't know. You really honestly just don't know. And it's coming to that point where like, yeah, we do have to push for better sequence of plan, better sequence, yeah, it's multi-layered.
Yeah, it's becoming one of those scenarios where, yeah, if you're not paying attention to some of these small little details, that you will basically be falling behind. And to your point, right now is probably the best time to think about these things, even though they're uncomfortable, they're not very happy, you know, whatever it is. It's not like this is not the Beyonce Renaissance, you know, concert experience here. But it's something that you're going to have to grapple with. Like, if you're not grappling with for real, like for real, it's going to come up to you. And then you're going to be like, oh, I can't believe. And then you get really angry and really mad. Yep. And you get into a space where nothing, you know, it's almost like it's like everything you try is not really working. And then you blame it on everyone and everything. And you find no solutions. And you eventually become so bitter that it drives you into, you know, in bad health.
Yep. And this is why I'm trying to not get there. That's why I was like, you know what, when she comes here or come back, Like, I have to have that conversation of like, if I'm taking over and I'm never reverting back to any of the siblings being part of it. They're just going to see me make decisions, because what ends up happening is last year when everything happened, I said everybody would have to put a certain amount in the account. The only person that was putting in the account was Lovely. The only person that's thinking about the thing is this. So it's like, at the end of the day, your care is on me, which is why I know my mom was so mad when I made her make this decision. I told her she has to give up the apartment she had. And this had to have been right before I left to come to New Hampshire in 2016, right? Because I said to her, my sister doesn't pay anything in the house. Your income is what covers the rent and cover the lighting, and it covered these things. You are literally babying her and not saving. And you're going to put yourself in a position that you're not going to have anything. And even in Haiti, I said, Mom, for you to have $1,000 in Haiti and you already have a house and you have everything, you should be living like a queen. But no, what she did was anytime somebody here's 50 goods, here's this, here's that. And now she spent 10 years caring for people. Now that she can't give them the way, they're not there. And I said, how many times in your lifetime have I had to talk to you about this? How many times? That if you're not okay, nobody else is going to be okay.
Oh, yeah. And most of them will just keep it moving when you're struggling. They'll just keep it moving. I think that's my biggest concern. Like, well, not concern as much more as my biggest issue with it is like, when things are happening to you, nobody else is checking for you.
Nobody's checking.
This is on you.
Nobody's checking. And so the next however long God graces her, I said to her, like, I'm going to take over, and I'm going to take over that's in a way that's efficient. I'm going to put the numbers there. I don't mind putting you in a place in OCOP, because I know that here it's going to cost us 3-4 times. But if you have stability, which stability just means that your numbers are good. We have 90 months of you having clear numbers. Then yeah, we can get stuff done. We can make something happen for you. And I tell my friends this all the time. Like, my other friend, she's like, well, you can just give her ultimatums. I'm like, no, don't give people ultimatums in the term of like thinking that's going to make them change. They're just going to do what you need to do for a second. They need a complete mindset shift.
They have to make those decisions for themselves. Exactly. Like, what's important, what's viable, what's truly something that, hey, I don't like the way I'm living right now. And if you can't make that decision, like, stop off that. Like, I can't help anybody that can't make this decision.
No. And I think that's the thing that people don't understand. It's like, I'm not forcing anybody. I'm not going to cause them to do so, because I had to say that to her today. And it seems like harsh when I say that, because I'm constantly reiterating to her. I was like, Mom, you made bad decisions. We need to, because Haitians will do that. They'll say, oh, m'pa gen le choix. Ou gen choix, décision fait yo, résultat avec choix gen yo. The choices you currently make is the choices that later on are going to be presented back to you. I have to take care of myself. Like, everybody's like, Love, you're getting small. I'm going to continue to take care of my health. I need to lose these weight, and I need to make sure that I'm healthy, because I don't want to be 55 and can't walk because of things that I could have had control over. Anything could happen to any of us, but it's like, are you working out? Are you eating healthy? Like, the other day I bought a juicer, and it was like 5 something, but I'm like, 5 something for a juicer or thousands of dollars of healthcare bills because you didn't take care of your health. There are certain things that are not, like, you can't do anything about them. Like, there's pre-genetic situations, there's certain things, but we still have to be responsible for the things that we can do. And it's constantly like churning in my brain every day. We have to find a way to do better, to kind of lodge these things that are not in our control. And I always tell people, like, you have the power to change your life. Like, every day I'm trying to learn better, do better, put my stuff together. But when you start looking at the stuff on spreadsheet, you're like, dang, this is not a joke. And I can't, by proxy, not think of my future and my children's future. I tell everybody in my family that I have kids I'm fighting for and setting up for.
People just don't, they don't find, it's not that they don't find value. Let me just rephrase that. They live their way and that's fine, but it's not the way that I'm going to live that. I'm like, I can't do that.
Yep.
That's the way I look at it. I can't do what other people are doing. I can't just kind of wing it. I can't make those type of, short-term decisions and knowing what I know, right? Because I think part of it too is like, once you know, then you could change. But if you act like you don't know, that's on you. I can't help you with that.
Yep.
Like, I know what I know, and like, I'm going to work towards fixing that. That's it.
Like the post that you said that people are going around saying like, oh, we have, oh my goodness, let me stop and start again so that we could, you don't think my voice sounds crazy?
Nah, and even if it does, it sounds like you're a human being. How about that? Like, it sounds like, hey, like some days your voice is not going to be the best. Some days you are sick, some days you're not. I can't, also like another thing about me, I can't fake perfection anymore. I don't want to.
No, not perfection.
No, I'm just like, yeah, even clarity, even whatever it is, I can't do that no more for anybody. I'm like, I don't care if I wanted to say something, I'm on my deathbed, I would still say it.
Oh God.
That's just the way it's gonna be. Like, I think we try too hard to fiend. I forget what the word is. Not the word fiend.
Wait.
Faint perfection.
Thank you for listening to the Financial Griot podcast, powered by the Wealth Builders Collective.